In this video, I'm going to talk about supposed contradictions 7 and 8 from the book All That's Wrong with the Bible, Contradictions, Absurdities, and More. The reason I'm talking about these together is because they're about the same passages and they're kind of about the same thing. The first one is talking about where Aaron died, and the second one is talking about where the Israelites went after Aaron's death. And basically what they're saying is that Mount Horeb is a place, and that Mount Horeb is not in another place called Mosherah. And they're making the case that these places, Zalmonah and Punon and Gudgoah and Jothbath, are different places. And I looked these places up on the map that I could find that described these, and it does appear to be correct today that Mount Horeb is outside of what is considered to be Mosherah. And these other places, Zalmonah and Punon and Gudgoah and Jothbath, they are pretty close to each other, it looked like, but they're maybe not precisely the same places. But a couple things can be said about this. He is correct in representing these are the places in the text here that are in two different accounts of the same events. And what I would say about this is two things. One, he even alludes to part of this. He says he hesitates to make claims about anything related to toponyms of the ancient world. A toponym is the name of a place. And the reason I think he hesitates to make any claims about this is that place names and boundaries are not static over time. So think about the Louisiana Purchase. In North America, this was a large land purchase that was a territory for a while that the United States government bought. And this territory extended all the way from the coast of Mexico all the way up to what is now Canada, and included several states in between. It was a big swath of land. And inside this swath of land was most or all of Arkansas, including the area that is now called Little Rock. There was a period of time when there were people that were living in what is now Little Rock and might have even been called Little Rock while it was still part of the Louisiana Purchase territory before Arkansas had been delineated as a separate place from Louisiana. And so my point is that this is analogous to the situation in this case, at least potentially. You know, the Louisiana Purchase is relatively recent compared to the things that are described in these books. You know, in Genesis in Numbers and Deuteronomy, these are describing events that happened perhaps 4,000 or more years ago. That's much more distant in the past than the Louisiana Purchase. And we don't have the kind of maps and historical records that would indicate exactly what the extent of particular geographic regions were and what may or may not have been included in Mosherah. So the idea of using any kind of geography to claim that there are contradictions in the Bible is probably a mistake, just because we don't have good information. Even if the contradiction is real, there's no way to show that that was actually the case, because there simply aren't records that are reliable, or records at all in many cases, that these places were any particular location, other than simply that in many cases there's no records whatsoever of the existence of places other than the fact that they're mentioned in an ancient text. To my knowledge, there are no written or drawn maps that are 4,000 years old or something like that, or even ones that are a couple thousand years old that purport to describe events or places and boundaries from thousands of years before that. So this is all probably a silly way to argue for a contradiction in the Bible. And the other thing I was going to say about it is that even if these places were precisely in the same location that they are today, that having one account say that they went to these two places and another account saying they went to these two places is not to say that they didn't go to these two places or these two places. Maybe they went to all four places in a similar order to what is described that is compatible with both. So it's not a case of a contradiction. It's at most, I think, a case of a time when different details are shared in different accounts. So that simply doesn't qualify as a contradiction. So I'll leave it there and say like and subscribe if you're enjoying these videos, and click the notification bell to be notified of future releases. Thanks for listening. May God bless you.